The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. And hold on, my thing is going on at the same time. Gilbert's on his way. He's caught in traffic. You know, this is a holiday weekend, actually. It is Mother's Day's weekend. So people are traveling from all over the place to be with their moms. And so we're going to give him a few minutes. And so we're going to just kick off the show. It's been a busy week for me. My last weekend was my birthday, but my uncle is ill, and so I've been running back and forth to the hospital. We had it's like when it rains, it pours. So my youth program, the tennis program that I sit on the board, we had our Living Legends event, which absolutely awesome. We had some great honorees, but that took some time. So I'm bouncing between that and then, of course, my digital marketing class and recycling black dollars. And so everything merged into needing something from me this week. And I was just absolutely exhausted. So I'm a little tired today, but I'm going to get through this because that's just who I am. And I just have to find some time to rest. I find that I love holiday weekends because people are so tied up with their people, they can't bother me. So I'm happy that this weekend is Mother's Day weekend. And so that's cool. Also, we're just on the beginning of getting ready to teach our Biz Camp class for youths between the ages of 14 and 18. We're really excited about this year. We're going to be doing it at a new school with, of course, always new students every summer. And so we're really excited. So if you have an aspiring entrepreneur between the ages of 14 and 18, you want to reach out to me at cmitchell544 at gmail.com, and I will send you over a flyer and some information and the link to sign your child up. This is an awesome program. This program we've been doing for the last 13 years. I do it it's a collaboration that I have with the Los Angeles Urban League, and as well as NIFTY, which is Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship. And so it's really an exciting time. I think for me, the most important thing in these times are making sure that we're setting the best example for our children and that we're better preparing our kids for the world that they are living in and well beyond us. Because I will tell you, when I was growing up as a child, my mom, she said there was like a rites of passage as we grew up each year. Each year we had to do and be more responsible and more accountable year after year after year until we were able to stand on our own. Nowadays that doesn't necessarily happen. And so I want to share a story with you guys. This past 12 weeks, I've been doing another entrepreneur program with kids, and they would be competing for $5,000. And so when we first introduced it to the children, they just looked at us and went, okay. And I'm going, so what the heck is the excitement when you tell me that I'm going to win I could potentially win $5,000 and you're not excited? Okay, I'm just a little bit confused. So the first week, they were just like me. They were just like running middle of the road about the whole thing, and they had to come up with an idea, and they had to do it as a team, and they just nothing was motivating. Money did not motivate them at all. And I'm thinking, when I was their age, and they're 14, money was a big thing. right? Because we had to work hard for our allowance. Some people didn't have the luxury of having an allowance. So if you told me there was a possibility that you could win $5,000, oh, you're gonna put everything you had in it, right? And even today, if you tell me I can win $5,000, I'm gonna put everything into it. So it just finally hit them the week before. And they're going to present tomorrow at we're going to be at LA Trade Tech, and they're going to be competing against 7 other schools. It finally hit them how much $5,000 was. And then they put everything in it last Sunday. I was just like, okay, wow, you guys are really on the slow uptake when it comes to money. Just not understanding at all. But they're excited now, and so they're all ready to compete. And our Mr. Gilbert Buchanan just walked in. Traffic was bad, I assume.
Oh, my Lord. I'm going to have to get a house over in this side of town.
or a Learjet or an automatic car.
Get a helicopter like Kobe.
Yeah, traffic is bad.
Yes.
And I was just saying it's because it's the holiday weekend. It's Mother's Day weekend.
Oh, I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it's because it's the holidays. It's
all kinds of crazy stuff.
People are coming into town. People are going out of town.
Yes.
People are going to
People are
visit
preparing for the weekend.
For their moms. So it's cool. I don't unfortunately have my mom here. My mom's been gone for about 10, 12 years.
Same thing here, man. So on Sunday, I'm just going to stay home by myself, do nothing, and just think about my mom.
Yeah. I was saying that to somebody, my sister, and we were like, people just don't realize, what that means.
It means a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It means a lot.
Yeah, when your mom is gone.
Yeah, it means a lot, man, because that's when you start reflecting. You start reflecting on the things that she did for you while you're growing up. You make some important decisions in life.
Yeah.
The encouragement she gave you, the coaching, all of that.
All that stuff.
All
that
of that
stuff is important.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So it should be great for those that still have their mom. I tell you, embrace her. And love her and do everything that you can, because when she's gone, you have your memories, which is a good thing.
One of the things I regret that I never get to do with my mom.
What was that?
Going to a restaurant with her and having dinner.
Oh.
Never happened.
That never happened?
Never happened. And I wanted to do it, and when I was in the position to do it, she couldn't really walk that well. She couldn't sit up in a restaurant,
Oh, wow.
Or you couldn't get her up in an SUV. She couldn't climb up.
She couldn't get up.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was just so tough, because I see other people and their moms, having dinner, lunch, breakfast. And I'm going, that's what I want to do. Just have breakfast or lunch or dinner with my mom.
Just have time?
Yeah. Never happened, man.
Yeah, my mother and I were very, very close. We were seamstress and we were shopaholics. And so Saturday would come, and this is before I started skiing. After I started skiing, it was a little different than Mona. Mona and she did more than I did.
Yeah.
But we would go all day. We'd leave the house at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we'd go down to South Bay, and we'd cover every store.
Which is so great.
Every store from Torrance and all the way back home, which we lived in L.A.
Right.
And we would come home at 10. We'd leave out at 9. We'd be gone literally
all day.
For like 14 hours. We didn't have lunch, and we didn't shop, and we didn't spend hours in the fabric store, and we just had fun. And that was
unbelievable.
That we did that for, and it was fantastic. I'm sorry you didn't get to do that. With your
telling
mom.
you, a lot of us take things like that for granted.
Yeah,
we're going, we don't have to do it now. We'll do it later. You never know, man. Because that plus some other things I never got to do with my mom.
My mom and I, we used to go camping together. When she got ill, my mom died from lung cancer.
Yeah.
And we went, she was at probably the year before she died. We put her and my best friend Daisy.
Yeah.
And her mom was ill too.
Yeah,
her mom is still alive, and she has been caring for her for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
But mine's... we put them both in the car, and we drove them up to the mountains.
Yeah.
And the whole entire family, there was like 20 of us, and we all went to Big Bear.
Oh, wow.
And
they loved that.
They loved that. We went skiing, and they stayed at home with one of the other friends who wasn't going to go to the snow, and they cooked for her, and the two moms, they just kind of hung out.
See, they love that, and that's the kind of thing I like to do.
And those are the things that you remember, because the last thing I remember with my mom, and she was still ill, but every car that I had ever purchased, with the exception of the one out there, my mother has always been there to do the negotiation.
Yeah.
She was my negotiator.
Oh, yeah.
And so I had a Chrysler Sebring, and so she was still a walker and the whole bit. She had gone through, she was in chemo at the time.
Yeah.
So she goes, and I said, well, I'm going out. And this time, I really didn't have to search for the car. I had friends, and they knew that I was taking care of her, so I didn't have a whole lot of time for that. Right. So I had a friend that was at a car dealership. He saw the car. He knew what I wanted. Oh, wow. He says, okay, I'm a start the conversation for you. And then I'm going to leave it so you can get started. So he did pretty much all the work and asked all the questions and let me know this was the car. It was in perfect shape, and then something came up and I couldn't get there, but it was a Chrysler on a Lexus dealership lot. So of course the salesperson kept saying, "Oh, you got to hurry up and you got to curry up and come out to get it." It's like, dude, they ain't coming there to pick up a Chrysler. Exactly. They coming to pick up a Lexus. That car will sit right there until I get there. So that following weekend I came. My mom, she goes, "I'm going." I was like, "Really?" She goes, "I've always bought cars with you." Oh. So that was the last thing that we did together.
That is amazing,
she went with me and we bought my car, and it was good because they didn't keep me in the dealership forever in a day.
She would have given them a piece of her tongue. She was giving her piece, and when they were trying to negotiate, and I had set it up with the credit union for the car, so it was really just. I should be in and out, in and out. And they were trying, and she's like, and she over in her little chair, no, no. So that was perfect. That's amazing, man. That's amazing.
So that was my mom's, and then I think the year after that, she passed away.
Oh, unfortunately. Man.
Yeah, but I have good memories from my mother.
Yeah, I do too. She used to storytell a lot. She used to tell a lot of stories, and sometimes I'm going, "Mom, that's not true." She said, "Yes, it is. It's my version of it."
It's my version of the truth. Yeah.
So she was just amazing, man. And she used to love to dance.
Oh, did she?
She tell you all these stories about when she went to the dance halls and how it was.
Well, yeah, you guys are Jamaican. Of course you like to dance. That's like my girlfriend who's Cuban. And they've been dancing since they were born.
Oh, yeah.
That's all part of the culture, right?
And then she tell me her strategy. You know, she said, "Listen, I'll go out on the dance floor and I'll just scan the room and see which one of the guys really know how to dance, and he's the one I'm dancing with. So if some little fool decided to come up to me trying to dance with me and I know he can't dance, I don't have time for that." I said, "Mom, you did that?" She said, "Yes." So she would pick who she wants to dance.
Okay, your mama was something else.
I'm telling you, she's something else, man. She's something else. She's amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah, moms, you just don't even realize just how. And I think, as children, I don't know if the children today get the same that we got when we were growing up, because it was different.
Yeah.
My mom, a lot of our parents were stay-at-home moms. Yeah. My mom worked, but she was a nurse, so she would go in at 7 in the morning. She would go in at 11 at night.
Yeah.
And then while we were asleep, she was at work.
Right.
And then when she came home in the morning, we were just getting up to go to school.
Right.
And so then she'd stay up and get us ready for school, and then she'd go to sleep, and by 3 o'clock we come home from school.
Wow.
She was there. So it was like she was a stay-at-home mom.
Amazing.
And so she slept while we were away at school. So we had that. But, kids, unfortunately, the way the economy is, they have to work and they have to run. Mm-hmm.
I see kids today, they're speaking back to their parents, especially their mom. If it were my mom, you would see one shoe flying at you, or a pot, or anything she can reach. That comes sailing at you, man. You have to duck.
Right. Yeah, I think I was in my 20s, and I thought, okay, I'm grown. Yeah, right.
Oh no.
I wasn't even living at home. No, I wasn't. Obviously not grown enough.
Oh man, I tell you, one day I try to, big up my chest on my mom. You know, I don't remember how old I was, maybe 19. I don't remember. And she slapped me in my face so hard. It's like, you know when you get hit and you see these little stars? That's what I said. I said, Mom, what's that for? She said, you may be taller than me, but I can cut you down to my size.
Right, exactly. It ain't play. There was no back and forth, no arguing with them. And you knew when it was the final word.
Oh, yeah.
You might go back and forth a little bit, and then and you're like, oh, wait, there's that look.
Yeah, that's the look.
Back down.
Once you see that look, man, you know, hey, you better chill and stop talking.
Yeah, it's time for me to shut my mouth.
Things are going to happen next.
I have a girlfriend. Her mother used to tell her when she would get out of hand, she said, you got one more time, and then I'm going to take the bottom of your lip and pull it over the top of your head. And it just stopped her in her tracks. She was getting a visual.
Yeah,
like, how you going to do that? But they used fear in those days.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling
you knew that you didn't know that they weren't going to do it.
Yeah.
And a couple of times you felt like they had taken you to that level. But they only had to do it one or two times, right? And then after that. And then we were also kids, or at least I was. I never wanted to disappoint them. I knew how, especially my mom, because she had divorced and she was just taking care of us alone.
And she worked hard.
And she worked hard for her little money and whatever she gave to us. So it was always a thought process. One, I don't want to disappoint her.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt her, and I don't know what she's been doing to see that as something she's done in vain.
Exactly.
So that was always the boundary, the baseline for how you behaved and what you did, and just when you did do something and you felt ashamed and you're looking at her going, oh my God, I completely disappointed her, and that was something, and I don't know why that's different today. I don't know if it was a different how we were raised.
Well, it's different because they know they now have the system to advocate on their behalf. The system intervenes and, I'm going to take this child away or take this parents away or penalize this parents. Back in our day, we didn't have any of that. There was no system to intervene.
There was no system to protect you. A grandmother, maybe. You had a granny that might protect you, but other than that,
there's no system at all. So that's why these kids today, they feel they can be all, uppity. With their parents and talk
my mother
smack
used
to them.
Say, I had an aunt that one of my cousins did that, and my uncle told her, he says, okay, well, here's how this is going to work. And my sister tells her boys this as well, and they're, of course, been very well-mannered. So she raised her kids the same way as we were raised. But so he says, so here's the deal. We're on this side of the room. You need to be able to get from this side of the room to that side of the room without you being dead. And when you get to that phone, you better make sure you make a beeline out the door
before I get to you.
Because before they get here, they're gonna really have a reason to take you out. And then they don't. And see, I was an always rational person. I never even ran away from home because the thought process to me was, if I run away from home, who's going to feed me? Where am I going to sleep?
And if the parents catch up with you, what's going to happen?
So that's like, why would I run away from home and the food is at the house and I got to go out there and don't know anybody? That's ridiculous. Not doing that.
That was never a thought in my mind or any of my siblings' minds.
Right. No, leave for what?
You leave forever. Right. You're not coming back.
And then on top of that, my other rational mind, if I was a child today, would be, so they're not going to take my parents out of their home. They're going to take me out of my home and put me in a group home with total strangers. Yes. And they're going to be harder than my mother or father could ever be.
For sure.
So, and my parents and their lives and my other siblings, their life is going to be the same. Mine is the one that's going to be completely upside down. Right. So no, that made no sense to me.
As you mentioned, that there is a new movie out. It's called Foster.
Oh, okay.
It's about foster homes.
Oh.
And I think Trevor Noah on Comedy Central, he had the directors and writers on last night.
Oh, really?
It gives you a whole new look into the whole foster system.
Yeah.
And I'm going, wow, this is amazing. Because a lot of these kids, they're thinking, I don't have to listen to you. I'll just go to a foster home. You think it's going to be all good? It's like, okay, here's how it works. And maybe it doesn't work that way, but for the most part, it does. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see a total stranger on the street. I want you to tell me that stranger that you see walking down the street right down there is going to love you as much as I do, take care of you, make sacrifices for you. And that stranger has their own kids too. So tell me they're going to make that sacrifice over their kids for you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's the scenario.
Yeah, that's the scenario. And it's interesting. I mean, there are some good foster parents. And there are some that are there specifically for the money. Yeah. I used to, in the early part of my career, when I first became an entrepreneur, one of my clients was a psychologist, and his area of his specialty was for drug addiction and also children and kids and anger management that were in the foster care system. Yeah. And so he had contracts at that time. We had a lot of group homes in Los Angeles. And so he had contracts, and the kids would come in, and the stories were just earth-shattering. And these kids, at that time, that was right in the early 90s, so a lot of them were born from crack parents. And then their grandparents had been trying to take care of them, but no longer equipped to do so. Right. And of course, their children are in and out with drugs. And I saw some of the saddest things. And the kids, there was one couple, this is a white couple, actually. She and the father, they had 8 kids.
Wow.
Only one was, and at the time when she came to us, only one was in the house, and it seemed like there was a every two, when the child turned 2.5, then the county was coming to take the kids.
What?
And so all her children were in foster care. Because the father was an alcoholic, and even though she was living with her mother, she refused to give him up.
Right.
And so to keep her children, all she had to do was give him up and not let them have access. Right. And she couldn't. So they'd get pregnant, then 2 years later they would come take that baby. So 8 of her children. And so one of the little boys who had he was in a foster home, and it was lead poisoning. And so there was some psychological damage for him. And then kids that had been born on crack and all kinds of stuff. That is not some place that you would want to go. No. Basis your loving home. Now, of course, sometimes those situations are what they are, and people are having children that really should not have kids, and so of course they can't take care of themselves, let alone a child. Yeah. And most of them came from families where they didn't know what good parenting was, and they didn't have good parents, and so it's just a perpetual trickle down theory, so to speak. But that was pretty rough. And so with that, and even I think, when my niece was young, it's like, unless you're ready for children ain't no joke. No. That ain't no joke. And that will be the hardest thing you've ever done, and doing it by yourself. And that's why I never had kids. I never wanted to do it by myself. I saw my mom.
And there's a whole new set of psychology that goes along with that. Because if the kids feel to some extent that whatever is going on in the household, they may have something to do with it, they start blaming themselves. Blaming themselves. Yeah. Which is tough, and it lives with them for the rest of their lives. Especially if it's a girl, because girls usually want the approval from their dads. Yeah. So if whatever is going on, it doesn't seem as if the dad even appreciates them being there. It's like everything they do in life, they're trying to get that approval, that appreciation. And it could be for the rest of their lives. When they're adults, they're still trying to get that approval. And then if they don't get it from the dad, then whichever relationship they're in, the boyfriend, husband, whatever, they're going to be seeking that same kind of approval. And a lot of times they end up with the wrong type of guys, where they're seeking approval, they don't get it, they get beat up or whatever, and they still stay in those relationships.
They're still staying for that, because what they're looking for is love. Yeah, and they didn't get that as children.
It's tough, and a lot of parents don't think about the psychological effect of the kids when anything goes on in the family. Like if you and I are married and we're arguing all the time, and the kids are watching that, then that's the same type of behavior they're going to exhibit in their types of relations, even with their siblings. Right. They're always going to want to argue, or because they're thinking that's the way to be.
And that's a big thing, because when when husbands and wives or mothers and fathers realize that they're just not gelling.
Yeah.
My mom had to make that decision, when she and my stepfather started to not get along, and she could see that it was starting to affect us as kids.
Yeah.
And even though as quietly as they were trying to keep it, I was the oldest, so I really knew what was going on.
Kids always know.
Yeah, you always know. And so now you're jittery, you're all kinds of stuff going on. So my mom, that's why she made a decision. It's like, this is not worth it. My children can't be damaged because he and I can't get along. And so, but some people make that decision. They decide to stay for the benefit of the kids. But no, it's not for the benefit of the kid, because the kid is really suffering.
Oh, yeah. And
because you're suffering.
Yeah, it's a psychological damage that stays with them forever.
I know.
I don't know if you ever watched a show called Ian.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she is phenomenal. Have you guys ever seen it?
Yeah. Van Zandt. Because her show, she digs in. She's on her own. She digs into the root cause of where this started.
Yes.
I think the one that really resonated was when she did that with football player.
Which one?
What is his name? Not Sanko. Well, not Sanko. It's his best friend. What is the guy? Because he had like 13 children. What is his name? Because
I know she done it with a lot of football players.
She did it. And this one was, his name is there, but it's not. But he's not playing now because his life is such a disaster, and he kept having all these. Cinco's friend.
Yeah.
What was his friend?
I don't remember his name.
Because Cinco is the disaster too, but his best friend was as well. But
Ocho Cinco.
Oh yeah, Ocho Cinco. But his story. Terrell? No. It's something with a T.
Oh, Terrell. Is it Davis? Terrell. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Owens. His last name is Owens, right?
Yeah. Owens.
So, his mother, now the story, and this is what she got to. The story was that his mother, they were in Alabama, and his mother was dating a man across the street who had a family.
Whoa.
And took very good care of his family. He had a new Cadillac every year. He had girls, and the girls were going to good school, nice dress. Yeah. But his mother was flirting with, and they started having this affair. And quietly and clandestine. And so Terrence Owens, that's his name. So Terrence was the result of that. So he did not know that was his father. He lived across the street from the man.
Didn't know.
Never knew. He stayed with the grandmom. The grandmom didn't have a lot of money because the mother didn't have a job or anything. The mother was there. So he would see the kids across the street. Oh, that's a nice family. He had a new car, and he and his wife would go out, and it was just living. This is like the ultimate black family, right?
Wow.
Terrence Owens is over there living where he can't, he barely getting shoes. Yeah. Of course, this man is not kicking any child support in, and he knew this is his child. So, long story short, Ivana Van Zandt uncovered it and even had a conversation with the father, the father and the biological mother, and that's when Terrence found out what was going on, and all of that just hit him because here was this man that lived across the street. Here he wanted a father, always wanted a father, and this man knew he was over there. Talk about feeling alienated. And that's why he had so many children, because of course he was always looking for that, and he never had a father, and he thought maybe being a father was the answer, but not if you didn't learn to be a father. You have to watch that one. You probably can find that in the archive.
That's the thing with some of these parents. They don't see the long-term psychological effect that has, because it doesn't just happen to your child. It happens to the people that your child become in contact with, whether they have a relationship, whether they're just friends, or whatever it is, because they exhibit those feelings that they're having, you know, and they transfer it onto them. Unbelievable. So we're at the bottom of the hour. So you want to go ahead and take a break, or you want to make some announcements?
Let me see any announcements. So other than the fact we have a Recycling Black Dollars breakfast mixer on Tuesday the 14th at Denny's on Crenshaw. 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. So come on out, everybody.
So Recycling Black Dollars this Tuesday?
This Tuesday, May 14th.
Oh,
at 8 o'clock.
To make it. When am I on the schedule?
We want you to schedule. August, I think we want you to speak.
Is it August? Okay.
I
thought it was June.
June? It's June?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what she talked to you about.
Yeah, I definitely want to be there.
Okay. Yeah, I think it is June because it's Father's Day. Because this Monday we're having Angela Winston and we're honoring the mothers and because it's Mother's Day weekend.
Right.
So that might be you in July. So that will be Tuesday the 14th. And then I have tomorrow at LA Trade Tech. The kids that I've been teaching entrepreneurship, and they've been doing this youth entrepreneur challenge. They will be competing for their $5,000.
Oh wow!
And we have 2 teams that
you guys videotaping this.
Yeah, it'll be videotaped, so that we're excited about that. Anything else going on? Our digital marketing classes on Wednesday night are just off the chain right now. We got about 100 people.
Good.
And we got just last week we probably got 10 that got all their themes and their domains.
I need to come back.
So they're coming along.
Yeah.
So that's about all I have going on.
So how about the Obama announcement, the Obama Boulevard? Did you go last week?
No, I did not go last week.
This week, right?
It was last Saturday because I had to go to my uncle in the hospital. But I hear it was a success.
Yeah, I saw picture images of it on social media.
Yeah, it was Urban League was they were involved and I was supposed to go. I had a ticket to go, but I celebrated my birthday last Saturday. My girlfriend and I, we just went down to El Chorritos and had an amazing margarita because I really needed
someplace.
And then we were out just driving. We drove around the beach, looked at the water.
Just let me know where you want to go.
Okay.
I'll take you.
So that was what I did.
You're on my calendar officially.
Thank you. Yeah, I decided to forget the community stuff for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here's one thing I want to make an announcement. So there is a lot of stuff going on in this city that pertains to us as Black people. So Dr. Rosie Milligan is having a town hall meeting next Thursday, and I believe it starts at 7 at it's on Manchester. I think it's True Foundation Church. I'll have the address before we end the show, but it's a town hall meeting to have a conversation about some things that are really, really brewing in our community. And we really need to take some stance on some things. There's certain political positions that are opening up. We need to make sure we vote some new people in there because there's some things going on in the housing world that is really just, right now, there are more deaths on the street from people who are homeless than there are people in the hospital.
Wow.
There are more people that have been evicted from their homes, no-fault evictions, where the landlord wanted to take the building and tear it down and build a new building and then kick all the people out. There was a project that Nipsey Hussle was working on in our community before his death, and there are 746 units. And now that he's no longer here, now a developer is coming in and they're going to tear down these homes, which has 747 people living in them, and kick them out with no place for them to go. And then they're going to redo it and allocate only 147 for affordable housing, which in the definition of affordable housing, if you're making $54,000.
That is crazy. So,
a lot of that does not affect us.
No.
And so that's what's going on. We need to be going to planning meetings. Because we cannot continue to have people living in the street because they can't afford.
See, that's another phase of gentrification right there. That's what they do.
Oh, yeah. This one is big. So now there has to be some rent control. And I think my sister was at a meeting last night, and if you are being evicted, you automatically get an attorney now so that you have someone to fight for.
So who provide the attorney?
The landlords are going to have to pay for it.
Oh.
So if they're going to kick you out, they got to pay for your legal fees.
So a lot of people need to be aware of that.
A lot of people need to be aware.
Because they may not be aware.
Right. So come to Dr. Rosie's meeting. She is the appointed mayor for South Central Los Angeles. And that is going to be next Thursday. You guys can go. You can call Dr. Rosie. You guys all know Dr. Rosie Milligan. If not, go to her Facebook page and you will see the information. But it's next Thursday at 7 o'clock. And that's May 16th. It's important that the community turn out.
We need to get her back on the show.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to take a break.
We're going to go ahead and take a break. You're listening to the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. Give us a call here at 323-293-3375. That's 323-293-3375.
We'll see you in a minute.
Small businesses spend more than $500 million each year combined trying to find missing or replace missing paperwork. Hey, small businesses, are you tired of losing out on business opportunities because your paperwork is not in order? And don't you hate having to register in multiple websites just to find a single procurement opportunity that may not even be worth your time? Well, worry no more. Small Biz Pro is the solution to your problems. Small Biz Pro is an all-in-one cloud-based business management, compliance, and procurement assistance software platform that keeps small businesses organized, contract-ready, bank loan-ready, with quick access to procurement opportunities, as well as market research data. Here are some of the features and benefits that you receive when you use Small Biz Pro to run your business daily. Superior record keeping at your fingertips, back office management and compliance, quick access to bids and procurement opportunities in government databases. It allows you to conduct easy market research and gather industry statistics. Government certification preparedness and compliance checklists. Easy HR and general operations management functionality. Bank loan readiness preparation and cash flow management. Certified payroll and labor compliance reporting. Business dictionary with defined business terms. A cloud-based business management platform that keeps small businesses organized and ready. Even nonprofits. Business documents securely stored in the cloud. Data fully encrypted and protected by triple firewall reinforcements. On-the-spot document retrieval for quick decision-making. Bank-level data security for compliance. Document expiration alerts and advanced notifications. It uses security restrictions to block out unauthorized users. And much more. Try it out today for only $5 for the first 30 days. What are you waiting for? Go to www.smallbizpro.net and register now, or your competitors will. Small Biz Pro, keeping small businesses organized, business ready, and contract ready.
Think outside the box. It's a popular idea. It's the story of the lone artist going away and making something radically different. But what if that's not always the case? What if creativity isn't always about thinking outside the box? What if it involves thinking differently about the box? Ever watched a child play with a refrigerator box? It becomes a car, an airplane, a robot suit, a table, a tunnel. Think about Minecraft or Legos. They're basically variations on stacking boxes, and yet the simplicity and lack of options actually unleash the power of creativity. This is the idea of creative constraint. It's the notion that innovation happens when you run into barriers that force you to find a new route. Creativity often involves problem solving and systems hacking. Yes, creativity can mean an empty canvas or a blank page, but it can also be a roll of duct tape. Think of Camden Yards or AT&T Ballpark or Fenway Park or Wrigley Field. These places are creative because they were built around quirky spaces. Similarly, chefs have developed the most creative recipes when forced to use specific ingredients. Think about the Apollo 13 engineers who helped the astronauts back to Earth with limited time and resources. Creative constraint is also what makes Vine videos or 3-chord punk or live theater so fun to experience. It's also why the plot constraints of the hero's journey led to the epic Star Wars trilogy. The point is, life will hand you boxes, but every box is an opportunity to be more creative. It just depends on how you think about it.
Wow.
And we are back at the Business Zone with Crystal.
And Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic.
Yes, we have some conversation going on. You know, people have gone nuts on Facebook and on social media. So one of our friends, you guys all know Natalie Goucher, right? There was a crazy person tried to take her picture. So you guys protect your rights.
Yes, got to protect yourselves because they keep cloning your accounts. And because, you know, sometimes you're friends with somebody, right? And all of a sudden you get another friend request from the same person. And you go, wait a second.
Yeah, somebody's cloning you.
They're cloning you,
Yeah,
exactly.
So before you got here, I was telling Dr. Lowe that my Instagram was cloned.
Really?
And so my people immediately
found out
and jumped on it and told me. And so now I have official on my Instagram. It says, this is the authentic and authorized and official Instagram account. I feel like a celebrity.
I love that. I'm going to do the same thing with mine.
Yeah. So, Natalie's Beehive, they weren't having it. So that's what we need, everybody. When you guys see somebody trying to clone us, because we are impossible to be cloned, go after the people.
That's right.
But I want to welcome our guest. Oh, my God. And I want to thank Margot Lovett for referring her to me. I've been reading up on her Facebook page and her LinkedIn and her website, and she's just an awesome woman. So let me tell you guys about Dr. Taunya Lowe. Dr. Taunya Lowe, known as the Riot Starters, now that's a person after my own heart.
That's what I'm talking about.
Is an innovative, insightful change agent who understands the concept of adding value to others. As a trainer and presenter, she is witty, engaging while offering practical solutions, healing the pain points around team progression and productivity, succession planning, and professional development. She uses a cadre of asset assessments to establish baselines within organizations such as the Maxwell Leadership Game, Wiley DISC, and 360 assessment. She offers training, coaching, consulting using her results-driven philosophies backed by 20 years of research to help organizations create high-performance workplaces. A national and international speaker, trainer, author, podcaster, mindset coach, and consultant. Dr. Lowe is a graduate of Clark Atlanta University and Capella University. She is the founder and driving force behind the results-driven philosophy and the Riot Starter movement, which consists of programs, products, retreats, and training. She is inspirational, transformational, and your partner for individual and organizational success. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
You're a powerful lady,
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I am so happy to have you here.
Welcome to the Business Zone, Doctor.
Yes, welcome, and I am so thankful you're here. Change agent. We need that, don't we?
We need change agents everywhere. Everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And the scary thing is people don't realize that they are a change agent.
Right.
Yes.
And so just tapping into that gift, tapping into what you do every day to help organizations, communities to actually change toward the better.
Yep.
And we kind of, because we always are looking for leaders, and we don't have to go find a leader because there are leaders within all of us, right?
Everyone is a leader. And most of the time, whenever I go into a company and I ask the question, where are my leaders? People are very hesitant about raising their hand. But the reality is we're all leaders, whether we adopt that title or not.
Right.
It's about our influence.
Yes.
And so if people are coming to you, if they're sharing things with you, if they respect you, you're a leader, whether you have the big chair in the office or the paycheck or not.
And a lot of people may not hold the title, but they're so influential in the organization or the group that is phenomenal.
Yes.
Phenomenal. So yes. So I take it you do a lot of OD, a lot of organizational development, right?
I do.
That's your background?
I love it. Actually, my background, I come from a human services background. So I grew up in nonprofits.
Oh, okay.
Worked in the behavioral health field for about 12 years or so.
Right.
And once I completed my doctorate, I knew that becoming a consultant and working with people, combining all of my background was my next best step. And so that's how I have
created myself, as you will,
Yes.
this new lane for this part of my life
Right.
as a consultant, going into companies and helping them to create high-performing workplaces.
See, you're at the level that I wanted to get to, but after getting to the master's level, I said, no, I don't want to do it anymore. Because I wanted to do my doctorate because my thing was I wanted to write books. I wanted to write books for universities.
Yes.
So they can use them as textbook, like Drucker and Tom Peters and all of those guys. That's what I wanted to do. But of course, as you know, it's a small community. So those guys, they rule all universities when they write their books. And to get into that group is like you have to kill something.
So I've got a secret for you. Why get into their group when you can create your own?
There you go.
Go ahead and write that book for anyone who's listening. And that's one of my things now. Everyone has a book inside of them.
Yeah.
And everyone has their own philosophy inside of them. So go ahead and write the book and stop trying to fit into someone else's little
paradigm.
mold. Stop trying to fit into their mold. And create your own.
I like that.
You create the way.
Yes,
Somebody had to start somewhere, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And when you in today's world, with the internet, most people, if you look at your CNNs and your NSNBCs, they're going to bloggers and journalists and other writers and authors to get their information.
Right.
That's
Get their
the
content.
new. That's their
Yes.
content.
Right.
That's where they're getting it.
Because a lot of those people they're tied to the grassroots movement, so they have that authentic information.
Right. Exactly.
So there's no more. And they also are recognizing that the experiences help shape people more so than the textbook stuff, right?
Yeah.
So if it's not authentic, then it's a problem.
It's a problem. I just had a conversation with someone on yesterday, and they've been running this conference forever. And so they wanted to kind of tap in and find out, well, what are you doing? What are you hearing? And some of the things that I was sharing with them about what's happening in organizations, what's happening in companies, and what's happening in small businesses, they're not even scratching the surface on that because they're appealing to a different crowd, a different audience.
Yeah.
And so it's that real life experience of what's really happening, not what you see on television and
or in a book.
Or in a book.
Yeah. See, that approach is a synthesized approach. So, it's like when you're sick or you're not feeling well, they give you a pill. They give you that type of synthesized remedy.
Exactly.
Instead of you having some herbs or whatever to take that natural remedy to get things done. That's what that process is. So it's very refreshing that you're bringing the authentic solutions to the table.
Because a lot of the things that we realize once we get in there, there was no chapter or book for it.
That's what I'm talking about.
I never took the course on how to deal with workplace politics or being the only African-American woman or the youngest woman. There was no course for that. I had to learn it the hard way.
Or the real reason why, as a small minority business, you're not being paid by a customer or you see what I'm saying? Because they hide the reasons why.
Or why they want to give you a smaller contract when you know your competitor got 5 times
that's
more.
That's what I'm talking about. So those are things that's not in books. No, that's what we learn out there in the streets, in the gutters. You see what I mean? Yes. So preach, sister, preach.
So what are some of the techniques that if you go into, and what size organizations are we speaking of that is generally your client?
So I work with both government clients as well as corporate, Fortune 500. And so they usually bring me in for a couple of different reasons. So, hey, we're having a retreat. We want you to come and do a one and done, which we all know that's not going to fix
it doesn't work.
The core or the culture of what's happening to your company. They'll bring me in because, hey, it's your Crystal's last chance. So can you provide some executive coaching or can you provide some coaching to get her back on track? Because we all know that it costs more money to rehire than it does to retain.
That's true.
And so if most companies had some built-in avenue to allow their people to get some coaching, then their workplace culture would be a better place.
Yes.
They bring me in to talk about workplace culture and how to change that. I wish more companies would bring me in for that, especially now. It's kind of like the millennials versus everyone else. And if we do some cross-generational communication, cross-general, because everyone is needed at the table.
Oh yeah.
So those are some of the things that I some of the clients, some of the companies that I work with, some of the things they bring me in for. And what I've learned over the past 22 years now is that if your leadership isn't strong, if you don't have a strategy that you can actually implement, not we went to team building and we created a strategic plan and it's now lost on the shelf somewhere in a binder, but an operational strategy where it's got names and you're going back and it's got coffee stains on it, right?
Because it's being used.
And then teams. In the book, I tell my story about where I was not always a team person, but I learned the hard way about the value of a team. And then creating customer experiences.
How did you learn that, and at what point did you feel like you're learning that?
So I was always a team of one. And so in the book, I tell the story about I knew how to get success. I knew how to
Only
be
I
successful.
alone can do that.
Because that's what they teach you in school, right? That's,
as a leader.
As a leader, whatever it was, I knew how to do it. I just didn't know how to play well with others on the playground. So, and in the book, I call it my I was under 30 years old, had my Super Bowl experience, as a director at the state level, managing a budget of $25 million. I had people that I would work with. And so after really growing, statewide substance abuse programs and everything, I decided I want to get into academia. And so, I was working on my doctorate and, I think academia will be a great place to settle. So they bring me in. Because they love my background, right? And they said...
First of all, when they brought you, and not to interrupt you, when they decided to bring you in, did they know what you look like, or they just figure...
Well, they did.
Oh, they did?
They did know what I looked like. Yes, they did. They were very impressed with my paper. So they bring me in. They said, we're going to put you over this department. There's going to be... You've got 25 people that you're going to oversee. There were only 3 that looked like me. And they told me, and it's a challenging department. There's some problems there. Your first day, you're going to have to fire somebody. So I learned a lesson there, in addition to learning how to work with teams and galvanizing people to move in the direction that you want them to move in. So it was not a successful operation, needless to say, in addition to a lot of other things. But it was really interesting. What they liked the person on paper, but they didn't really like the reality of a person. Kind of like when you're online dating, that profile looks good.
Oh, phenomenal.
I look good on paper.
Wait a minute, is this who is this who you really are? Wow.
90 days.
Your strategies worked well, and you have a track record. And my track record was good with getting things done.
So they see the end results on paper.
That I have to, And now I have 20 people that I have to incorporate into my process. And so I didn't understand about how to do that, how to develop. I had to learn it the hard way.
You know what's amazing, though? You learned from that and you recognized that
immediately
it wasn't a productive way to get the results you needed.
Exactly.
And you were able to adapt.
Exactly.
Now, I want to ask you a question real quickly.
Okay.
And I want to see, I don't want to see how you answer it. I just want to see how it's played out.
Okay.
So, what do you think about leaders who blame others for all the problems within the organization and never want to look at themselves? They keep deflecting.
Do we have time? Oh my God.
And do we have an example of somebody that does that?
That's what I'm talking about.
So when a leader brings me into a company and they start out talking about everybody else, I usually within, because I do have a therapeutic background, so it doesn't take me long to assess.
Yes.
So usually I can tell, no, it's you. It's really you. And so I can determine where they want to go based on what level they bring me in.
Yeah.
And so if they just want me to do a one and done, you're not interested in
They don't want to solve the
change.
problem. They don't want to solve it.
But if they say, and I just had someone say, hey, I want you to work with me first, and then I'll bring you into the organization because I know I need some area to work. So people who are always blaming, there's some issues there. You're not hiring right. You don't know how to hire right. You don't know how to develop people.
Or you don't know how to lead.
You're leading with what I call the big E, your ego.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The big
And
E. And I
they-
talk about the big E in the book.
And are they hiring people very similar to their own personality?
Sometimes they are, and sometimes they're hiring people who
Subservient
are not,
to them.
who they feel like are subservient to them. They may be intimidated by them, or they want people who don't have the same skill set.
Okay.
And so nothing is happening in that organization because everybody, they should probably be doing other things. And so if you hire people and you build a team of people who, we hear this all the time, you want to surround yourself with people who know more than you because you're going to grow.
Right.
You're going to grow and your team is going to grow and your organization
Those types of leaders don't believe in that.
No,
they don't believe in that.
And their culture is a sick culture. People aren't growing, and you can tell their customer experiences aren't that great either. So if your home is messy on the inside, it's going to reflect on the outside.
You know what I love about your background and your approach? Not only do you have leadership and organizational approaches and strategies, but you also have the counseling approach too. Because the counseling approach tells you a lot about people and groups that you're working with. You got to understand them. If you can't understand someone, there's no way you're going to lead them. There's no way you're going to put programs in place that will make the whole organization successful. So I love that. And many leaders, they don't have that. They don't have that. They come in, or maybe they assume a leadership role, and then they jump right in. And once they jump in, they're thinking this is how you lead. You intimidate people. You let them know I'm the boss every day. I'm the boss. You see what I'm saying?
It's all about me.
But your approach is different. I love that.
Because organizations are made up of people. We take our stuff to work. We take it into our business owners. So if you have a business, you have to manage your stuff as well. And so if we aren't dealing with our stuff, it's going to come over into the workplace. So Maggie, who's coming in, going off on everybody, there's something else going on with her. And so they may tell me as a coach, well, this is what's going on, and it's my job to help them. You've got to manage that. You've got to balance that. Take advantage of EAP. We don't want to go to counseling, but we need to. So that you can be the better you for your team, for the organization, for your legacy.
This is so amazing.
And it's interesting because in today's world, with so much is going on and coming from a leadership from the top, from the White House, and that's completely a chaotic place. You guys should have enough books right now to write on leadership and what not to do for the next 25 years. You can take a segment of his personality and just you can actually, like an encyclopedia set, it could be like 52 versions.
You know what's amazing though? We have studied people like him in organizational development. We've got books on people like him. We've got programs on people like him.
And I think, and possibly, but the thing is, because he's been a privately held business,
Yes.
his mess has always just stayed contained.
Yeah.
You know, like
he never realized it before.
And he didn't have to, because it was his business,
Right.
and he didn't have board of directors.
Yeah.
He didn't have any of those people to tell him what not to do.
Yeah.
Whereas any publicly traded
It's
company,
totally different.
They have overseers.
You got board of
Exactly.
directors.
And so you can't, board of directors, you can't. So and what I find amazing is, and I've said this before he was elected, my background is accounting and bookkeeping, right? So numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
They
Numbers
never,
do
ever lie.
ever.
And so as a business owner, and I can't tell you how many times I have said this, that if you have filed bankruptcy 6 times, you are not a good business person. So that should have been evident, right?
No matter what you say.
So how many times have I said that in the very beginning?
Over and
over and over again, right?
Right.
So now that they've gotten that synopsis of his the IRS draft.
It's even worse
and
now
they're
than before.
He's a horrible business person. He filed bankruptcy.
How can you lose $1 billion over so many
He has
years?
lost
You
more
see what I'm saying?
money than anybody in the entire country.
Yeah.
How could you be a good business person?
Yeah.
And how could people who are actually running good businesses?
Yeah.
So forget his children and all of those people, but people that are come on board that actually Apple was sitting at the table with him. All of the major corporations that are extremely successful has sat down at the table with him. Mm-hmm. And I would imagine one executive to another executive going, whoa, there's some stuff missing here. I mean, right? You know this.
Exactly.
You're a business person. Yeah. And it's just absolutely amazing. Now they're saying, oh my God, how did he lose $1 billion?
The lights are on.
The lights are on now.
But it's actually a very good example to carry over to real life.
Yeah. Right.
Because if you look at, any given organization in the country, if any of them lost top people at the rate that he was losing staff, they would be tanked.
Oh, yeah.
And
for sure.
someone would need to ask questions about why are people leaving our organization and then addressing that.
That's where shareholders come in.
At the most basic level.
At the most basic levels. Because you got these big vacant holes in your business that people are not there to fulfill the business, whatever your business is. If he was actually a company, she's right. It would have tanked by now.
They would have tanked.
Because there are major departments that have no people in them.
Right.
So let's talk about what does that look like for the small business?
Let's talk about that.
So you have a small business, whatever your small business is, accounting, book. We're in tax season, I think we are now still. Yeah. And so if you're not providing leadership to your team, people are looking for leadership. Oh, yeah. Children are looking for leadership.
Everybody looks for leadership.
Everybody is looking for leadership, clarity. Where are we going? What am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah, guidance.
And then what's the plan to get there?
Yeah.
If I didn't know how to get here, I would have to put it into my GPS.
That's what I'm talking about. There has to be some guidance.
You're the GPS.
Yes.
Right.
And so if you don't have those skills, then you need to work with someone to help you get those skills.
That's right.
And then how do we work together as a team? Most businesses typically fail because they don't have the operations in place. Whether you are running a virtual team or you've got people on site, you don't have those things in place to have your teams work efficiently and effectively so that you can scale.
Right.
So that you can go and do other things because you're holding on to everything.
And I love what you do. You do that 360-degree approach because that's what's necessary for an efficient organization to function.
Yes.
Because let's say you have 5...
Especially for the leader.
Exactly.
Especially for the leader.
Exactly. So let's say you have 4 or 5 individuals within your organization. Each one is going to specialize in certain areas.
Yes.
And by combining all of that, that's how you get your 360 right there.
Yes.
Everything, every part, it functions together to provide that ultimate result. So I'd like to hear a little bit about your 360-degree approach.
Yes. I love the 360. It is an assessment. And so this assessment, we are collecting data
Yes.
from your direct reports, from people who've worked with you in the past,
Your
people on the same
customers.
level, your customers.
Yeah.
And so they complete a secret survey. Because when the data comes back in, you know, you don't know who said what.
Right.
And it's compiled.
Yeah.
And so I will sit down with my clients who dare to take the risk to have it done.
Yes.
And we'll talk about the data.
Yeah.
Now, once the shock wears off of what was said, then I'm like, okay, look, but it was said 5 times.
Yes.
So don't worry about who said it.
Because that's really what they do. They want to know who said that.
Who said that? Who said that? Don't worry about it. It was said 5 times.
Yes.
At 5 different levels. So this is something that we need to put in your treatment plan
That's a
to work
flag
on.
right there. Yes. Yes.
Because this is what's keeping you from moving your teams forward.
Yeah.
If it's that attitude, if it's how you communicate with people, if it's how you're not clear.
No
because
direction.
A lot of us who've not really worked with people, we have it in our head, but we don't know how to communicate it to someone else.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
So how does it? So is it received when you're
sometimes?
Sometimes.
Okay.
If they desperately want their business, or they truly
if they really value people who run into a wall, right? You know, your back is against the wall. If I don't turn this ship around, I'm gonna lose my job. Those folks, they receive it.
Yeah.
And because, you know, we all think we're perfect, you get this feedback. You have to be open to feedback in order to grow and make those adjustments where you need to make the adjustments. And I think that every leader should have a 360 done.
They should be.
Because how you run your company or your business is going to determine the culture of your organization.
Yes.
And so when you have turnover all the time, then people are going to bring their way of doing business into your business or into your company. But if you have an established way of this is how we do business, this is how we communicate here, this is how we interact with each other.
Yeah.
And so everyone is involved in the decision making. You know, at whatever. We want to hear from everyone.
Yeah.
Many companies like to say we have an open door approach.
Yeah.
But we just don't want you to use it.
We have an open door approach from me.
Yes.
And I've worked in company that's been over 30 plus years since I've worked in corporate America. But I recall one company that I worked in, the manager, she thrived on the chaos. She would create the chaos because that's how she did. And then the president of the company, she created so much chaos, and I think this happens all the time, that he didn't know how to deal with it. So he just kind of took the step back and just let it happen. But of course, he was losing very talented people because the ones that couldn't put up with that chaos. So how do you handle, or how do you work with both of those?
Oh, wow. So people who know that they have a gift. So let's work that backwards. People who know that they have a gift and they have a skill set and they know that what they bring to the table is of value, they're not going to stay in confusion.
No. They're
going to get out of there quicker than you got them in.
Right. Yeah.
And so it really is that level of awareness.
Yeah.
You know, someone should stop and ask the question, why are people leaving here?
Yeah.
Because I've sat down with leaders and it's like they can tell you something was wrong with each and every person. But not 10, 15 people.
Right,
okay?
exactly. Yeah.
That's usually their thing, though. When people are leaving, it's their fault.
Yeah.
It's never theirs or the organization.
But when you lose 20 people in 6 months,
that's their fault.
Yeah, someone needs to sit down. So if you're that type of leader where everything is someone else's fault, that tells me that you haven't taken a moment to sit back and reflect on what's really happening here. What's happening? What can I do differently?
Right.
What could we have prevented some of these things? Maybe I needed to be a little more available. Maybe I needed to listen to what that African American woman with the braids was saying.
Right, exactly. Yeah, right.
Now she knows what now I see her doing big things somewhere else, and I should have listened.
And that talent was what I needed in order to grow my business.
I have a personality profile assessment tool that I use.
Yes.
Which is different. I because there's a lot of personality profiles out there, and some of those are not even recognized by experts.
Right.
But this one is a little different because this one evokes certain types of things within individuals that let people, the ones who don't want to look at themselves, it forces them to look at themselves.
Ooh.
So this is something I love to talk to you about because I know we don't have all the time here today.
Let's definitely talk about that.
But I also want to talk to you about this book.
Yes.
What inspired you to write the book, and tell me about, what are some of the parts in this book that you think small businesses need to pay attention to?
Okay, so small businesses need to pay attention to every part of the book.
Good. Good.
And you guys, every part of the book.
It's only 4 parts, and so they need to pay attention to every part of the book.
Good.
So let me talk to you about it from 2 levels.
Yes.
As the entrepreneur, okay?
Yeah.
I was in a place in my business where I didn't feel like I was doing a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I was operating in the zone where I really needed to be. I have all of this content, all of this information, all of this degrees. I break it and put it back together, break it and put it back together. And I'd fallen out of love with my business that I loved dearly. It was my child, my first child.
That's interesting.
And I knew that there had to be a different way.
Yeah.
I knew that I had to do something different.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting ready to use a bad word here. I invested. I made an investment.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the first one.
Yeah.
Because when you're a business person, you're always going to make investments.
Oh, yeah.
So I invested. And I sat down with someone and I said, look, I have my spreadsheet.
Yeah.
These are the things I love doing.
Yeah.
These are the things I've done over the past 20 years.
Yeah.
This stuff over here, I don't want to do
really
any
care
of this
about it
stuff.
that much.
I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do it anymore because everybody's doing this over here.
Right.
And I know, because I've done my research, that there are people who are doing very well in business who ain't doing any of this stuff.
Yeah.
So
the sweet spot.
We sat down and we just kind of, he asked me questions and what do people say when you work with them? I said, well, they say I get results. And so he said, well, what areas do you get results? So we started putting it together and I was like, ooh, I think I'm in love again. I think I think I might be liking this. I think we might be able to date a little bit.
Yeah.
And so right there, we really started formulating it.
Yeah.
I already had this book.
Yeah.
I already had it.
You just needed to...
I needed to reorganize my content.
Yes.
So if you're looking to write a book, you already have it.
Crystal tells me that every day.
You already have it.
She tells me that every day.
So that's the part for the entrepreneur, the small business owner.
Yeah.
You've got to get clear.
Yeah.
The things that there's going to be a time in your business where you don't want to do some of the things you've been doing anymore. But you don't have to ask permission.
Right.
Just stop. Stop. And start again.
Yeah.
Break it and put it back together the way it's going to work best for you.
Yeah.
Right.
So for companies,
Yes.
so this book is designed to help organizations create those high-performing workplaces. I've worked in government.
Yeah.
I've worked in corporate.
Yeah.
I've worked in nonprofit. Like I said, I grew up in nonprofit.
Yes.
And so, for some people, they may say, wow, she's had a lot of jobs. But no, I think about those as training grounds, And so across all of the consulting and the career, when I add all of that together, the things that really affected organizational culture was leadership. Leadership is the first thing.
So that's one of the 4 keys?
That's one of the 4 keys. So leadership, either leadership living in the gray area or leadership having that manipulation tactic of guiding people, and you can see it multiplying in an organization. And then you can see people leaving a company like the plague is there.
Right.
So really getting people to understand leadership and what that looks like and developing great people so you don't lose them.
Right.
The second thing is strategy. I saw a lot of strategic planning sessions going on. People bring me in to do strategic planning sessions with them. Follow up 90 days, 6 months. No one's using it. Hey, what about this plan?
Right, exactly. That we have
that we put together. No one's using it. What about all that change that you talked about?
What do you think is the reason why they don't use it?
There's no commitment.
From the top.
There's no commitment from the top, from the middle, from the side. Someone has to keep you accountable and keep you consistent.
Do you think that a system has to be developed that forces them to be accountable?
I think it depends on how bad they're in pain. So for companies that work with me who are in pain, then they're committed.
Yeah.
But we've got to get to a place where commitment is about prevention.
You know,
Before it sets on fire.
I know you have 2 more keys to go.
Yes.
But pain is measured in 3 ways: time, money, and resources. So if we can tie that pain to those 3 things, then it will force them to do it.
It will force them to do
Yes.
it. And your greatest asset as a business owner or a company,
Yeah.
it's your human capital.
Yes.
It's your human capital.
Yes.
But how many businesses don't recognize that?
Many
A lot.
don't recognize
There's
that.
a lot of
Many
them don't recognize
that.
You are not in business if you're not taking care of your human capital.
Yeah.
They're the ones that's executing your dream and your vision.
Yes.
So, and when you first started out, right? You first started out, it was you wearing all the hats. And then it was celebratory when you got to that place like, wow, I can hire a marketing person.
Yeah.
I can hire an accountant. I can hire this. And then you don't protect it.
Yeah.
And then you're back to wearing all the hats again.
You're back to wearing all the
you
hats
just
again.
started the business. And so it has always amazed me that large corporations don't protect their human capital.
Yeah. Because it's about the bottom line.
Yeah.
They're thinking about the bottom line so much, and they're not thinking about all of the people that are going to help you reach your bottom line.
Right.
And protecting them and loving on them and nurturing them and developing them.
Yeah.
Everybody's afraid, there's fear that, well, if I train you or work with you, you're going to take my job. Well, you shouldn't be thinking about, so what if they take your job? Because you should be setting your eyes on something else and training and developing someone to take your job.
Right.
So having that system of growth as well. Like we get places and we get comfortable.
Yeah.
And so as the entrepreneur, that can be a death trap. Been there, done it.
Yeah.
You get comfortable.
Yeah.
And in a company, in an organization, it's a death trap as well.
Right.
Because as an entrepreneur, you're going to get stuck and may fall out of love with your business. And then as an organization or a manager or leader in an organization, if you're not growing your people. And your people aren't growing in the organization to move you forward.
Right.
And so now we have a sick culture.
So what is the 3rd key?
Well, let's take a quick break.
Oh. I'm getting drawn.
I know. And he's the one calling the break. So we're going to take a quick little break and then we're going to come back to
We'll be back to
your
the
third
keys.
key.
Small businesses spend more than $500 million each year combined trying to find missing or replace missing paperwork. Hey, small businesses, are you tired of losing out on business opportunities because your paperwork is not in order? And don't you hate having to register in multiple websites just to find a single procurement opportunity that may not even be worth your time? Well, worry no more. Small Biz Pro is the solution to your problems. Small Biz Pro is an all-in-one cloud-based business management, compliance, and procurement assistance software platform that keeps small businesses organized, contract-ready, bank loan-ready, with quick access to procurement opportunities, as well as market research data. Here are some of the features and benefits that you receive when you use Small Biz Pro to run your business daily. Superior record-keeping at your fingertips, back-office management and compliance, quick access to bids and procurement opportunities in government databases. It allows you to conduct easy market research and gather industry statistics. Government certification preparedness and compliance checklists. Easy HR and general operations management functionality. Bank loan readiness preparation and cash flow management. Certified payroll and labor compliance reporting. Business dictionary with defined business terms. A cloud-based business management platform that keeps small businesses organized and ready, even nonprofits. Business documents securely stored in the cloud. Data fully encrypted and protected by triple firewall reinforcements. On-the-spot document retrieval for quick decision-making. bank-level data security for compliance, document expiration alerts and advanced notifications. It uses security restrictions to block out unauthorized users, and much more. Try it out today for only $5 for the first 30 days. What are you waiting for? Go to www.smallbizpro.net and register now, or your competitors will. Small Biz Pro, keeping small businesses organized, business ready, and contract ready. Subcontractors and small businesses are very good at performing their craft, but when it comes to managing their paperwork and efficiently running their business, not so much. That is why Buchanan and Associates, a multiple award-winning supplier diversity business management, technical support, coaching, and compliance firm is here to help you. Buchanan and Associates possesses core competencies in small business paperwork and government compliance, back office management and business support, business infrastructure and organizational development, light rail transportation program management, assisting small businesses in packaging and submitting their minority, woman-owned, and disadvantaged business enterprise certifications. We even match you up with contract opportunities. Buchanan and Associates has delivered more than 7,500 hours of training to subcontractors by preparing them to become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready with the ability to quickly access key documents in seconds. Buchanan and Associates help subcontractors accurately prepare, manage, and submit certified payroll, contract compliance, and labor compliance reports to primes so that they can get paid on time without delays. If you need to meet your disadvantaged business or small business enterprise participation goals, Buchanan and Associates can help you. If you need a qualified and experienced firm to oversee your subcontractors so that you can successfully complete your projects, Buchanan and Associates can help you. We help all businesses organize and set up their company the right way so that they can formally pursue contracts. Buchanan and Associates has assisted subcontractors and primes secure more than $90 million in contract awards. What are you waiting for? Contact Buchanan and Associates today, the small business paramedic. Go to www.thebuchanangroup.net and begin saving now.
So we're back on the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic, and our very, very special guest here, Dr. Taunya Lowe.
Yes, we are having such a wonderful conversation. You even wanted to miss the breaks, and you usually don't ever want to miss breaks.
Usually I don't miss breaks. Take a break. I'm the timekeeper.
He forgot all about the time.
But she had me at hello.
So when we left, I think you were asking about the third key.
Yeah, the third key to high performance workplace.
So the third key is, of course, teams. Building teams, strengthening teams, developing teams, getting your teams to a place where they're working well together, and so that they can do the jobs that they were hired to do, so that they can carry out the projects that they need to carry out. I use the DISC because I believe we know our strengths. And so I use the DISC assessment because it looks at behavior. It looks at behavior in teams, and it looks at it in four categories. And so when you look at, I just did a retreat with a company, and some of the things that the leadership was telling me, we're not getting certain things out of our people. Once we did the DISC and graphed it all out, it was like, because the people that you're hiring, they're not visionaries. They're not go-getters. They're your question askers. They're your support people. And so I said, it doesn't mean that they don't need to be on the team, because you need all of these people on the team. But you need to look at your hiring process.
Need to be put in different positions.
They need to be put in different, and so once they knew that, and then it also, one of the areas where it looks at behavior. So you got your strengths, because that's about you. But your behavior is it shows up when you're dealing with other people.
Exactly.
And so does that not slow down and affect productivity?
That sounds so much like KYP, huh?
Yeah.
My assessment tool is called KYP, knowing your personnel. That's exactly what it's about right there. So,
Yes.
And knowing where the strengths are, and that's so important. And I think it's even in the same, knowing from a standpoint, your partners, their strengths and their weaknesses.
Yes.
Anyone that you're doing, even your collaborative partners that, you may be community based, who is strong in this area, then I need to pull them in, and then I do this and I do this, but then learning to stay in your lane and allowing them to be trusting them to be at their best, because overall the end goal is what you're wanting to achieve.
Yes. And you can't get to the end goal if there's so many team challenges.
Right.
If there's so many behavior issues,
right, exactly.
then you're not going to be able to get to that place you set out to go. It's going to take you longer to get there. You may get there, and at the end, everybody's like, oh, we did it. Yeah. But how many dead bodies are there on both sides of the track along to getting there? And how much longer did it take you to get there?
Now, when they hire you, or when you've come into a company to do that, what is usually the time frame for them to make that turnaround? And do they see significant increase in their productivity as well as their profit?
For me, if I'm involved, I like to be involved with the company for at least a year.
Okay.
At least a year.
At least a year. You can see the change.
Because you got to be able to measure it.
I like to be able, because I'm a researcher too. So I want to see what's going on. So a company may bring me in to first maybe do some training, then do some coaching. Then we offer results-driven training quarterly. Those are I love people who decide to invest at that level because they're really committed. There's that C word again, to the change. But companies who say, well, we just want you to do a couple of trainings, or we want you to come in and talk to just a couple of people, then because I want to know, are you being effective? Are you using the tools that you're learning? I will follow up with those folks and see. Again, it may only just affect their department or their team, but that's progress. And they'll say, well, they're still doing, don't worry about them, because you can only control you. So take these skills that you've learned and you make the commitment. And so that's a message to people that are watching and listening. Don't worry about, if you can't fight City Hall, you can control your team, your department. And that's what's going to take you to that next level. Everyone should be, it doesn't take much to grow now. You can watch, you can listen to this show. You can read some books. You can watch things on YouTube. So we should all be growing so that we can grow and develop our team. It doesn't take much to incorporate, an article from my blog and say, hey, let's spend 2 minutes talking about these tips on how to better work together. So teams is very, very important.
So what's number 4, key number 4?
So key number 4 is creating customer experiences.
That's
creating
very
customer
important.
experiences. I don't mind spending my money where I feel like you're happy for me to be there.
Right.
That, I'm not bothering you.
Right, exactly.
And so how do we create customer experiences, again, which that goes back to the culture. How do we treat ourselves inside? It's going to be reflected to how we treat our customers. And understanding that when I speak about customer experiences, I'm speaking also about your internal customers as well as your external customers. So if IT has a problem with accounting, that's going to affect
marketing.
And marketing. So, everything really just kind of drives back to what is the culture of your organization? And that's a question that I ask Gilbert when I go in. What's the culture? What's your vision? Wait, let me go look it up and find it. Because
a lot of times they lose that. Vision.
It's just it's a checkbox.
Right, exactly.
It's a checkbox.
And part of the reason why they lose it is because, as you know, in every organization, your vision is going to shift and your mission will shift. So they get stuck in the original mission and vision. So that's why they can't see where they're going.
They can't see where they're going.
So it creates all this problem.
And then sometimes the founder or the originator, it's time. At some point, they may have to leave.
Yes.
Or one of the one or both.
Or
if
both.
there's one or two of them or whatever, because they lose. Yeah. They're stuck here in this mode. And they don't want to grow, because that's the whole idea. Why be in business if it's not going to grow?
Kind of
right?
like like Facebook right now.
Yeah, they want to. Yeah, right.
That leader needs to go.
Yeah, and
he's messing up that organization.
And many of them are saying that over and over again, because he seems to not quite understand the bigger picture. And I think he's trying to serve two masters, because originally his plan was not for it to be this big mammoth business.
Yes.
It was really just for people.
Hobby. It was a
hobby, right? Yeah. And it was for people just to connect. Well, okay, that's fine, but how are we making money?
Yeah.
This board want to know how we making money.
Yeah.
Because that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Right.
So trying to serve both masters have put him in a position where he has made some very bad decisions, especially on the privacy level.
Yeah.
And for him, it's like all or nothing, right?
Yes.
He's either all in. I mean, he's over here going, no, we're not going to do this, and then no, we're just going to get rid of all those people.
Right.
It's just one bank. Let's throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Right. Yeah.
And so I don't think he understands.
He does not understand
how the different steps or the different directions you can take to achieve the same goal.
So here's another great example. You know, does that not happen in organizations?
It certainly does,
and especially in government.
Yes. Exactly.
Especially in government. Yes. I wanted to say that, as we're talking about small businesses and organizations, these 4 keys are so perfect for churches.
Yes.
This
fits in every group, every entity.
But certain entities have more chaos and because churches don't operate like a business, and they really should.
So my thing is, Monday through Friday, you're a business.
Yeah.
They have the same HR issues.
Yes, they do.
They have the same hiring issues.
Yes, they do.
And so Sunday is the production.
Yes.
It's the theater.
Yes, it is.
But Monday through Friday,
we got to go back to...
It's a business.
Yeah.
And many churches don't understand that business aspect, that business component of of a church.
I have another question, but first I want to know: is Margaret going to be our next guest?
No, she's our.
You guys are together.
This is her.
This is it.
Yeah,
okay.
This is our whole guest.
So, you got me all to yourself.
Okay.
She flew in. Well, she didn't fly into Atlanta specifically for us, but we were part of the trip.
This is good. This is good.
But before you ask that other question, I want what the Riot Changer, because she has a podcast as well. And do it.
So the Riot Starter was birthed out of my first book, Want to Start a Riot, Change. ? Affirmations, confirmations, and prayers.
Okay.
And so that book, it's a book of affirmations and motivational sayings that I wrote, put together with pictures that I've taken on my trips around the world. Yeah. And so I wrote that book, compiled that book after I suffered a huge loss in my business. Lost about $32,000 in my business. And for a small business, that could tank your business, right? That right there will have you back flipping burgers.
Yes.
So, after I got myself together,
pulled all the pieces back together.
Put all the pieces back together. Here's the dirty word. I invested into how do I pull it back together? Because you can only take yourself so far.
Right.
Decided to write this book. I was going to call it something else, but I wanted it to have a punch. I wanted it to have a punch because change can be very violent sometimes.
It can be.
When you are wanting to do better, be better, grow better, get better, live better, there's always someone saying, why you want to do that? Why you want to leave your good government
job? We're perfectly okay the way it is.
You're a woman. You're a minority. You don't have the money. And so it's all coming at you. And for many people, especially women, we feel like we're in a riot.
Yes.
And what do? Nothing. And then we die with our dream or that thing we wanted to pursue inside of us.
Keep wishing.
And so, and for many people, we stuff it, right? Yeah. And so I say, go ahead and start the riot for your life, your business, and your career. but most importantly, your legacy, because people are watching.
Yeah.
People are always watching.
Yeah.
They're watching, how did you handle that mess up at work? How did you handle the conflict with the boss? How did you handle this situation at home?
Yeah.
And so we have to learn to be riot starters in a positive way, but for ourselves.
Right.
And so I started a podcast called the Riot Starter Chat. Ran it for 3 years, and I taught lessons, mindset lessons, a few lessons on leadership, brought in some entrepreneurs, some leaders to just talk about what does it take to be successful? What does it take to follow your dreams?
Yeah.
What are some of those things we need to stop doing? We're always talking about what we need to do, but there's some things you need to stop doing so they don't interfere with where you want to go.
Right.
So that podcast has about 152 episodes on all of the podcasting platforms.
Do you upload it to YouTube? Where do you?
It has not been uploaded to YouTube.
Okay, where is it available right
It's available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and iHeartRadio.
Well, I think you're in the right space.
Thank you.
Because then
Thank
you can monetize that whenever you want.
Well, this year,
Yeah.
the Results Driven Organizations podcast will be born.
Oh, wonderful.
And so on that podcast, we're going to talk with organizational leaders about the same stuff that we're talking about
That's
today.
amazing.
Hearing it from the leaders.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
So that's the Riot Starter movement.
Yes.
And so the Riot Starter movement has kind of grown up into results-driven organizations.
It catapulted into
yes,
this. This is
but my
great.
tribe, they're still Riot Starters.
Oh, for sure.
They're still Riot Starters.
Because they need to be.
Yes.
They need to be.
They need to be.
And I like that because, just what you said, and you were putting that in perspective to small business, but let's think of that as our people.
Yes. Yes.
Right? Everything you just said is what we need to be riot starting, just not to be okay with the status quo.
Not to be okay.
Because we can't be with the okay,
Right.
because of the legacy of what I said earlier when you guys first came in, the legacy of our children are at stake.
Yes.
We can probably tread through for the next 30, 20 years, possibly.
Yeah.
But our children have a whole lifetime ahead of them. And we, as African American or black people, and whatever we want to call ourselves, we can't continue in the same vein that we've been doing for the last 400 years.
Right.
I mean, and we can't keep going with the start, stop.
We have a saying in Riot Starter Nation: "Stop stopping, stay started." Stop stopping, stay started.
That.
Yeah.
I want to get, because that's what we cannot. Because every time we stop or are stopped, we lose so much momentum, and it takes so much out. It's like that abusive relationship we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
It's like we've been in an abusive relationship for a long time,
and it keeps you in that state of stuckness.
right?
Yes.
Stuck.
And blame.
And blame,
Yeah.
And blame.
and
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Instead of realizing that you are your own rescue.
Yeah.
I could have blamed when I lost that money
Yeah.
in my business
On something
but
else.
there were things that I didn't know
Yeah.
that if I had known them, then I wouldn't have
wouldn't have
lost the
happened.
money.
Right.
And so, again, you can only take yourself so far. You've got to get some support. You've got to do something different.
Yeah.
We gotta do right.
And when you get knocked down, you got to get back up. You got to, because you're going to get knocked down.
Yeah, you can't check out. You gotta, pivot and go. Okay,
Yeah.
shake that off,
Yeah.
and
Shake
then
it
going
off.
back off. But I think Riot Starter is for all aspects, is
Yes.
being able to, even at your home.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
To make change, it requires that. Because
Yes.
if it's comfortable, you won't make change.
And nothing happens in the comfort zone.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone.
No.
Change doesn't
gotta
happen
be uncomfortable.
in the comfort zone.
It's got to be
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
And that's
if you're
the
not
only way you're gonna make the
uncomfortable,
change.
At least twice a week.
Right.
Well, as a business coach and practitioner,
Yes.
I love to talk about IP, intellectual property.
Yes.
So that Riot Starter,
Yes.
I think you need to trademark it.
Working.
Need
Got
to
some things
trademark
working on now because
Okay.
IP is very important.
Yeah.
Yes, very
I
important.
think you should
Right.
trademark it.
And content right now, we're in a world that content is so and can be monetized. I
Yes.
don't know if Margot had told you, but I do we've been one of the solutions, I think, to our problem, okay, we have to be solution oriented, not
Yes.
problem oriented.
Yes.
We already know what the problems are. Is we have to create and generate more income.
Yes.
And it has to happen. And in order for us to even move to the next step, we have to. So a lot of us who are coaches or whatever, everybody out here has so much content that is out of this world, unbelievable.
Yes.
So a colleague of mine came to me, and he understands how you monetize your content.
Yes. Yeah.
And so he's bringing all the secrets, and he asked me to, this is his give back, is to pull in the people.
Yes.
So I've been pulling in the
Awesome.
people and then teaching them how to use blogging as that tool and then how to make their money. And so ultimately my altruistic goal is that once we get past, and there are people making like $150 million just on content.
Yes, ma'am.
And they don't, and no one knew, they knew the secret. The Beyond people knew the secret. We just didn't know the secret. And my thing is, once you get to that place, if it takes $100,000, put aside for your family to take secure home, and then you're at that 50,000 mark, now let's take care of community. Right. And so let us, as a whole, go in by property and real estate and land, and let us learn how to invest our monies. I heard someone say today that they were talking about Trump, is that with all the money that he has had in his hands over the last, since he's been a child, since
20, 30 years.
2030, when his father gave him his first $14 million. He never invested in anything in the stock market. He has no Apple stock. He has no Microsoft stock. He has no Warren Buffett stock. He has nothing like that. He has not purchased any artwork that had any value to it. So no asset other than the real estate.
The real estate.
When he had all of the means to do so.
Yeah.
He had the material pieces, but they weren't really his assets because he didn't own them.
Right.
Because they were all somebody else's money.
Right.
That was lending. So they were saying he has no jury, that nothing. No, it's like, really, you're worth over whatever you're worth. You lost you almost lost $1 billion, and you did not buy anything that was an asset.
He didn't diversify.
So for us as a people, that's an issue for us, right?
Right.
Even our wealthy people, if you're not investing in something that's going to live on and carry on that legacy onto your family, where it's not eaten up because somebody else owns it, or legal fees, or in the case of wills and conservatorship and all that sort of stuff. We had somebody on the show last week about that. We have to start being different. We have to start thinking different. Thinking different to preserve that wealth. And some of that is making that investment outside of just, your business. Because, one of the lessons I learned is when at the recession, some of that should have been invested somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because if you lose your clients, which is the money coming in the door, now what? Yeah. So that was the purpose of introducing multiple streams of income, so that money is coming from every direction. So in the event, or when, it's not if, when that catastrophe comes, you got, that's okay, I'll just activate this one over here, or this money's been coming in and I've just been putting it over here. Now I'll start doing something different with it.
Right. Exactly. And that's one of the cool things about having a book.
Yes.
Because you can take that book, you can do workshops.
Yes.
You can do conferences. You can create a coaching program. And next week, we're launching our mentoring program.
Well, congratulations.
So thank you. It's results-driven mentoring. And so people will get to mentor with me once a month and get on a call, and I'll teach a lesson, and they can ask me questions.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
And they can ask me questions,
That's
and
great.
it's a membership.
Yeah.
And so they sign up for that, and they'll have access to the library and whatever resources are in there.
Yeah, see, that's big right now. Dawn Strozier, she has a couple of calls that she's on, and she has some friends. That's what they're doing. They're doing the same thing that we're all doing, coaching and stuff, but we want to reach a broder marketplace.
Yes.
And so now they're doing weekly or monthly calls.
International,
yeah, because they get one guy,
yes.
I think he gets over 3,000 people on a call.
Yeah.
Every week, and or a Zoom meeting or a webinar, whichever platform you want to use. But and I think that's it, being able to reach it. If you have a message and it's a God-given purpose message, the messenger has to recognize that it's not just for you, and it's not just for a small grouping of people in your surrounding, your circle. Yes. It needs to be out. It needs to be out to the people
in the universe.
And this whole world right now, everybody's in the same chaos.
Yes.
Some way, shape, or form.
Yes.
It's in a chaos. And then there are people, we have to realize, even as crazy as our country is, if you look at how we do business and the resources we have it far better than, say, someone in the Caribbean diaspora or someone in the African diaspora. And we've had resources and education that we have accessibility to.
Yes.
That they don't have accessibility to. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's important that we use our skills and stop thinking that America is the only place we can do business.
Exactly. Because it is not.
Right, exactly.
James Malinchak.
Yes.
You have chosen him to write your foreword.
Yes.
Why and how have you met him?
So James Malinchak is one of my coaches, and he helped me do a lot of things around restructuring my business and rebranding myself. And so he actually offered to write my foreword.
How did you meet him?
I'm going to use the I word again. I invested in a boot camp.
And he was teaching the boot camp.
And he was teaching the boot camp.
That's amazing. It's amazing that you recognize his talent, his skills to help you.
Yes.
And then continue to use him as a coach.
Yes.
So I see here where he has a TV show, and you've got The Secret Millionaire. Is that correct?
James was on Secret Millionaire when that show was out. A few years ago. I think about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. This is amazing.
Thank you.
This is amazing. So I'm just so impressed with you.
Oh, thank you, Gilbert.
I'm so impressed with you. There's so much that I can talk to you about, but we don't have time. So, you're going to have to come back.
Well, I was going to say, you're going to have to bring me back.
You're going to have to come back.
Yeah, you definitely come back. And we can also we can Skype you in, too.
Yes.
We can have you in the studios.
Yes.
And we can,
I'd love to be a Skype host.
Skype host, we can Skype you in. And when you
coming from Atlanta.
When you launch your, please do. Because, that's one of the goals and the vision for the Business Zone is to be national and international. Yes. We actually do have a international listenership. Yeah. I boosted several shows, and now they just come in on their own now in Africa, and we have a lot of young people.
It's amazing. Most of our listeners are from Africa, Ghana, Nigeria.
Yes,
which is amazing, and that's what we've been talking about. That forget about trying to convince small businesses here. We want to go to Africa and those places where they really care about this.
They want. I was just there. I was in Africa twice last year, speaking at conferences, and they are
embrace
sponge
it,
for the information. They have the same issues that we have here in America: workplace issues and wanting to start their own businesses. But they may not understand the whole concept around coaching or around. What are the steps that I need to take? So they will read a book. They will listen to your podcast, your radio show, because they are hungry for information, because they want to grow.
Do you still run your business right now?
I do.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a parting gift on behalf of the Business Zone.
Okay.
I have a software platform called Small Biz Pro, which helps small businesses to store their documents. It's like a record-keeping system where you can access your documents in seconds, no matter where you are in the world. It's got procurement opportunities for all 50 states. Oh. It's got market research resources in it as well.
Oh, great.
So I will gift that to you on behalf of Crystal and myself.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'd like you to use it to run your business, and when you interface with your clients, you can use it as a tool to help them as well.
That's operations.
It's operations.
It's operations, folks.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because you're going to need documents from them from time to time.
All the time.
And they won't have it. But if it's in the system, then
Yes.
you can access it directly. You don't even have to talk to them.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
So
Put it in a funnel and send it to them.
that's what I'm talking about. So that will be our gift.
Thank you.
You've gifted us this book.
Oh,
We're
thank
going to
you.
gift you Small Biz Pro.
Thank
Yes,
you. Thank you
it's
so
been
much.
Wonderful, wonderful. Before we close out for the day, for today, I would love to share a poem that I found for mom. Mom, there, your mom?
I am not.
Okay, that's okay. You're a mom though, Margot, right? Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. The two of us are not. I'm an auntie, so I've got whole bunches of children, and I've been teaching for a long time, so I got some surrogate children out there.
Right.
But I found this poem, and I think it's very apropos for Mother's Day, and especially for those of us that don't have our moms anymore. But we know in our hearts that they're there. So the poem is: sometimes I know the words to say to give thanks for all you've done, but then they fly up and away as quickly as they come. How could I possibly thank you enough, the one who makes me whole, the one to whom I owe my life, the forming of my soul, the one who tucked me in at night, the one who stopped my crying, the one who was the expert at picking up when I was lying, the one who saw me off to school and spent sad days alone, yet magically produced a smile as soon as I came home, the one who makes such sacrifices to always put me first, who let me test my broken wings in spite of how it hurt, who paints the world a rainbow when it's filled with broken dreams, who explains it all so clearly when nothing is what it seems. Are there any words for this? I find this question tough. Anything I want to say just doesn't seem enough. That what way is there to thank you for your heart, your sweat, your tears, for 10,000 things you've done for me over the many years, for changing with me as I change, for accepting all my flaws, for not loving me because you had to, but loving me just because, for never giving up on me when your wits had reached its end, for always being proud of me, for being my best friend. So I come to realize the only way to say the only thank you that's enough is to clear in just one way. Look at me before you see what I've become. Do you see yourself in me and the job that you have done? All your hopes, all your dreams, the strength that no one sees, a transfer over many years, your best was passed to me. Thank you for the gifts you give and for everything you do. But thank you, Mommy, for all the things, for all of the for most of all the dreams coming true.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's amazing.
So that is to all the moms out there. There's to all the daughters and the sons and the grandmas and the aunties.
Yes.
And especially for those of us, and I put a big arm around all of us whose moms have gone on to glory and that they're still looking down at us and taking care of us.
You always know how to find these little nuggets. She's just so phenomenal. You know? That's why she's my co-host. Yeah. She's phenomenal.
So I thought that was very appropriate for today, and I want to wish everyone a wonderful and happy Mother's Day.
Yes.
And enjoy your family and enjoy your loved ones. So, Dr. Lowe, how do we reach you if they weren't me and I know how to reach you? How does everybody else reach you?
So they can reach me. I'm on all social media platforms as Dr. Taunya Lowe. You can also reach me by visiting my website, drtaunyalowe.com, and that's DRTAUNYA.com.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
definitely
awesome.
going to connect with you on LinkedIn.
Yes,
Are you on LinkedIn?
I'm on LinkedIn, Pinterest, everywhere, Dr. Taunya Lowe.
Okay.
Not Snapchat yet.
Not that
No.
Well, that's the younger crowd. We're not there yet either, but yeah, the younger crowd. But guess what, guys? So last week, and I'm going to share this. So last week, when Facebook was going through its purge and it kicked off Farrakhan and some other folks, and I have been saying this for such a long time that we needed our own social media platform, and so I found one.
You do?
And so this young man, he actually is from Los Angeles. Because I just signed up today. It's still brand new, but that means it's ours.
Like I say, she's a research ninja.
I think it's called, let me see, I think it's called Now is the Time. let me see. Now is the time. I think now is the time. And this young man is here in Los Angeles, and so you can sign up for free. It's just like a Facebook page.
Oh, wow.
And then if you're a business, they have a whole. Because I'm also the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars, and so he also has a whole network of businesses, because when you sign on, you can sign on as a business, and you pay $5 a month, and then your business is highlighted on the site. So I think it's called Now is the Time, and so I put my profile up yesterday, and I think that's where we all need to be.
Now is the time.
Yeah, now is the
so
time.
So you've met him? Have you met him?
No, I'm going to reach out to him because I want him.
You should invite him to the
Recycling
Black Dollars.
What is the name of the third thing? Because I just got it. I just signed up this morning. Last night I did. And I think actually I even got a friend. I mean, I think somebody signed on and befriended me. I put a BusinessZone up there. I'll find it, but I'll share it with all of you guys once I do.
Great.
Because I think that's important. We need to have our own platform to have the conversations that we need to have that nobody else is privy to.
That.
And nobody can kick us off.
So it's called Now is the Time?
I think that's what it's called. I'll find out for sure. I think that's what it is.
Social media is a great place to start. But like you said, you want to pull people into your own platforms.
Yes.
So it's a great place to meet people and market. But yes.
Well, because you got to have a place that was designed for our needs. It's just like everything, right? We have colleges that were designed for our needs.
Right. Right.
And so we have to have other places that we can have designed.
So were you born and raised in Atlanta?
I was born and raised in Georgia, South Georgia, Albany, Georgia, about 3.5 hours south of Atlanta. Came to Atlanta to attend Clark College, now Clark Atlanta University, HBCU, a very long time ago.
Okay.
So did you ever live here in L.A.?
I've not lived here in L.A.
Really?
I've spent some time here. Would love to spend more time here.
How do you meet Margot?
Well, Margot and I met through social media on LinkedIn.
Wow. That's phenomenal.
We met on LinkedIn and we have connected.
And now were you on her show?
I was on her show.
Okay, all righty.
That's great.
Margot's our other podcaster and doing some phenomenal things.
I see her pictures all the time and going, oh, this is so phenomenal.
Yeah.
I love it.
It all began with Crystal.
Oh, see?
Everybody. It all began
with
Crystal.
You are that energizer that keeps things going.
And the business plan.
Oh, wow.
It all began with Crystal.
Amazing.
Yeah, she came. Oh, here it is. She came to my a business plan class, and she always wanted to be in radio. She actually had done it before, and she was working at a corporate company that was giving her the thumps. And some big thumps, some very big thumps, and she just wanted to get out.
Yeah.
And so she created this business.
Yes.
And then it was a number of years afterwards, though, right? It was
number of
years. She went through. She sued the company. She left the company, and
that's
then
beautiful.
I went to I think a Black Writers on Tour, and there she was with her microphone.
That was a rioter right there.
That was the writer.
She started her riot.
She started her riot, and she was there with her microphone and her whole setup. Beautiful. And then she also, Our Time Now. That's what it's called. I had to find it.
Now.
It's called Our Time Now, and it's its own little social media thing. So you guys, Our Time Now, and this young man is from here. He's a young guy that started. So
we should bring him on the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find it. I found an article on Facebook.
Yes.
Oh.
That's
good. Because I went looking. Cause I'm a researcher too.
Yes,
so I went looking. It's like, okay, time is now. Yeah. But yeah, so she started it, and then she went to a PNC conference, a Power Network conference, which you guys is coming up in July. And she met some people, and they gave her she talked to them and got a platform, and now she's doing very well. So Margot, how many years have you been?
It's been going on 3 years.
Oh,
so we started about the same time.
Wait a minute, I'm still a baby with all of this.
Well, we will be 3 years in July.
Yeah.
3 years, really?
Yeah, we'll
Yeah, the
be.
We
business.
are consistent. We know the power.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah. You just have to keep plugging it. And I love the fact you do. I like the podcasting concept. Do it in different for themes.
Yes.
I mean, for the riot starts, and now you'll be doing it for the results.
Yes.
So it's
That's
very
amazing.
I miss it. I miss podcasting, but I had to make some changes because I needed to get the book done, and then create everything around results-driven organizations.
Yes.
And so I'll still, the Riot Starter will still be there, and may even resurrect every now and again.
Well,
but
you and I are going to be talking a lot.
Yes,
because
that sounds good.
I see a lot of synergy here.
Great.
And with my program, KYP, I see how you can use this in a lot of ways with your organization. So we're going to do that. I want to do a workshop for recycling back dollars too.
Yeah, his program is really, really cool.
Yeah, so they can see how it works. But I want to make a quick shout out. I know we're at the top of the hour. And yesterday I had a meeting over in Riverside. And I met with this organization. I won't say the name of it because I notice when I talk about stuff, it never happens. Because people
just do an overview.
Summary.
People in the background, somehow they're working to make sure it doesn't happen. So, but I met with this organization. I presented Small Biz Pro. They loved it. And this is an organization that works with a lot of small businesses. They provide finance for them. So what my pitch is that we're going to use Small Biz Pro to get these small businesses bank loan ready before they go to this organization to borrow money. So when they go, there's no reason for them to be turned down because I'm going to prepare these guys. I'm going to really get them ready before they go in.
Amazing.
So this organization, they're excited. They love it. They're going to, oh, wow, this is great. Let's start. So we're going to do a training session, first one in July 25th.
Oh, wonderful.
And then after we do that, then I tell them, hey, I'm willing to do a teaming partnership with you guys. We'll do a pilot program. We'll do it for 6 months. We'll do it complimentary because, when they've never met you before, they're going,
they gotta know who
we
you
don't
are.
know if your service is good. Google will do it for us or this company, but they never look at the small business who can do even better than some of those guys. So I said, I'll do it complimentary for 6 months so you can actually see the results because my program is results driven, just like this. Okay? Yes. So we're going to do that. And I know I'm going to blow their socks off. So after that, she's talking about getting some funds.
Oh, good.
So she can pay for the services. So I just wanted to put that out there. So once that's solidified, I sent in my bio last night and capability statement and all that good stuff. But once that's solidified, then we'll do a blast social media.
Okay,
and we'll
sounds good.
Invite
Well,
folks.
congratulations.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, we got to always keep growing.
That's
right?
what we
Always
got to
keep
do.
growing.
That's what
Always
we got to
keep
do.
growing.
We got to create our own story, our own narrative.
Yeah, our own
'Cause
narrative.
otherwise, they'll be telling our story for us.
But they have been.
And
so
they
now-
won't do a good job of it.
And they haven't. So we want to thank you guys. We have come to the end of our hour or a couple hours, and it's been a phenomenal. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Dr.
having
Lowe.
me.
Dr. Lowe, you've been phenomenal.
And we will be joining you on all of your socials so we can keep in contact. And
maybe she can interview us on her podcast.
Yes,
cool.
that would be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Yes.
And she's got a graduation to go to. That's why she's actually, or did you go already?
I went on yesterday.
Oh,
yes,
very
yes.
good.
So
my friend, she just graduated. Dr. Georgette. She is now a part of the 2%.
Ooh.
So only 2% of people in the U.S. have a doctorate. And it's less than 2%. It's almost less than, it's not even 1% of minorities that have.
So she's a part of the 2%
She's
club.
a part of the 2%.
Well, tell her we said
congratulations.
Tell her
Definitely.
congratulations.
Awesome sauce.
Definitely.
And
This is
so
amazing.
you're heading back home?
Tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
so
Well,
soon.
thank you so much for coming and into the studio. And we're definitely going to have you Skyped in, or even if you're in town, we'll have you back.
Yes.
Sounds
It's
good.
been awesome.
Thank
So
you.
thank you very much. So you guys have a wonderful holiday. Happy Mother's Day. Drive
Yes.
carefully. Love your mom. Love all your family.
Yes.
And we'll see you next week.
We're
and
out.
we're out.
As a small biz pro, that's how we roll. Using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, that's how we grow. Using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Just review the pages of my marketing plan. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Just review the pages of my marketing plan. Got my capability statement, yes, I'm ready to go. Got my balance sheet, my P&L, my statement of cash flow. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.